I think you might need a drink or a project to work on or something, because I think this video is going to be like an hour long. Hi everyone, my name is Elizabeth. This is Frizzy Lizzie Stitches, and this is Flosstube number 61. And today is June the 15th, 2024, and it's been 6 weeks since my last Flosstube update, which is crazy. I definitely did not plan for it to be that long of a gap. Usually I try to stick to a 3-week schedule. And yeah, I traveled to see my family in the month of May, so that was kind of the main reason why I didn't post on time. But also StitchCon happened last weekend, so I have tons to talk about, both stitchy and life stuff, and I figured we can just kind of jump into it. So I guess like some pre-chat before we get into the actual stitching. Although it has been 6 weeks since I posted my last video, or I'm sorry, it's been 6 weeks since I posted my last Flosstube, but it's been 3 weeks since you last saw a video from me. And that video would have been my, organize my full set of DMC with me, kind of vlog style, Flosstube extra, if you will. And that video has gotten such great engagement from you all, and I am so thankful. It is now my most watched video, which just blows my mind. And it feels very validating to know that my video, the whole time I was editing it, I thought it was going to be a little bit boring and repetitive, but I'm really glad that you guys have enjoyed it. And I'm also super excited to have a full set of DMC, because I have kitted up like, I don't know, 2 or 3 things so far with it. They were small things, but still, and it's just nice to be able to, you know, be like, oh, these are the colors I need, boom, 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 here they are. So yeah, and if you haven't already, that video is up. It's the one right before this one. And yeah, go watch it if you want to be enabled to get your own set of DMC, or if you just like some good organizing. And then I also wanted to go ahead and I have some Flosstubers that I want to shout out, and I figured I'd do it at the beginning of the video. Number 1, so I don't forget, and number 2, so I will tag them in the description box, and if they're like, why did you tag me? It'll be in the first 10 minutes. So anyway, first there's I guess 5 people that I'm wanting to share with you. 2 of them are brand new. One of them is my friend Carolyn. She is Stitch Read Repeat on Instagram and YouTube now. She just posted her first Flosstube probably almost a month ago now. And I met her at StitchCon Weekend B, my first year I went to StitchCon, which would have been like 2 years ago. And it was Wilson and Piper doing something. Anyway, she is very nice. She always leaves a comment on my video, and she's just one of the nicest people I've ever interacted with, both in person and on the internet. So go give Carolyn a watch. And then the other new person that just started is Beck Stitches Everything. I was already following her on Instagram, and she just started a Flosstube, again, probably like a month ago now. I think she actually has 2 episodes up, but she's from the Seattle area, and she's just really cool. She's fun to watch, she's got cool projects, and I'm looking forward to watching more of her videos. And then some new to me people, but y'all may or may not have already watched them. These are people that I had heard about from some of my friends, but I just never took the time to go and watch. And they were all gonna be at StitchCon Weekend A this year, which was last weekend. And so I kind of wanted to like watch at least their latest video, so I knew a little bit about them before meeting them in person. And now they are totally gonna be they're all added to my regular list. So the first one is Erinn and Amity from the Hathaway Stitchers. They are 2 sisters, and they grew up on like Hathaway. That was like the name of the street they grew up on, so that's where their name came from. But They are so fun to watch because they have such like a calm demeanor about them, but they're hilarious. I'm like last night I was watching the one they just posted, and I was like, it was really late and Bobby had already gone to sleep, so I was like trying to stifle my laughing because I was just dying. They're so funny, and they're also wonderful in person too. And then the next one is Rachel from Lemonade Stitching. She actually ended up being one of my table mates, and she was also super fun to watch and super fun in person. And then last but not least is Michaela from Cinematic Stitches. Michaela is super cool. I really liked watching her videos, but then she was also so fun in person, and she's pretty good friends with Cam and Marjorie, who I was sitting with, and so she was constantly coming to check, you know, say hi. And yeah, it was just really a lot of fun. StitchCon itself was a ton of fun. But yeah, if you haven't watched any of those people, I recommend that you go check them out. They will be tagged in the description box below. Okay, so I'm gonna jump right into my stitching because I have a bunch of other chatty stuff that will just kind of happen throughout, so we might as well get started. I'm actually somewhat organized today because I've got my Notion pulled up and I've got my projects in a pretty stack from what I'm going to talk about first and so on. So without further ado, the first project that I'm going to show you is Deadly Aquarium by Lola Cross Stitch, and this is up to date as of, well, it's not up to date, but to me it is because the fourth exhibit came out yesterday and I finished exhibit 3 last night before I went to bed. So this is what it's going to look like so far. This is up through exhibit 4, and then this is what it would have looked like last time I showed it to you, which was forever ago. And let's see, here's what mine looks like now. So I am like really proud of myself for keeping up with this sal so far. Obviously there's a new part out that I haven't started yet, but it just came out yesterday, so in my mind I'm caught up. And plus, there's not a release for next week. It's like an off week where you can catch up, so I will have plenty of time to get that done. I'm stitching this on 36 count Fiberlicious Yummy Fibers linen in the color Castle in the Sky. And I'm using 2 strands of floss over 2 linen threads, all the called for DMC. And my Rainbow Fish needle minder is from Abby at Top Knot. And I saw her at StitchCon and I told her, I was like, every time I show my needle minder, people want to know where they got it. So anyway, maybe she'll bring it back. But anyway, I think it's perfect for this project. But yeah, so the first release was the Moray Eel. And the second release was this puffer fish. And then exhibit 3 was this coral. And this coral was like kind of a lot to stitch. It was like, I think it's been the biggest release so far. It was like over 900 stitches. But yeah, it was just very like, it wasn't really confetti because all the colors were really connected to each other, but it felt like confetti in the sense that you really had to pay attention to your counting and stuff. But they look phenomenal, so totally worth it. And then the new release is right here. There's 3 fish. There's one kind of in this blob. There's another one kind of here, and then another one up here. So with these 3 releases, I had been doing like color completing, where I would start with the color that had the most amount of stitches to be stitched, and then work my way down. But this current release, they're kind of spread out, so I probably will just stitch 1 fish at a time. So I'll just like stitch this fish and like even the back stitch, and then move up to, I think this is a lionfish that goes here, and then there's like a butterfly fish. I don't know what the fish down here is called, but he's so cute because he looks so grumpy, and I'm just really excited to stitch him. But since my last video, I worked on this 18 times, and I stitched 5,635 stitches. And yeah, I think that's all I needed to say about this one. So yeah, I'm keeping up, planning to stay that way, and I'm so happy with this fabric. It just looks absolutely gorgeous, and all the colors are popping, and I'm obsessed. I love it so much. So the other project that I worked on between now and my last floss tube, basically, so my last floss tube I think was like May the 3rd or something. So we had Manning May, which is hosted by Megan the Seattle Stitcher, Brijin Museum Stitcher, Cam the Stitcher, and Marjorie made. And so I decided to participate this year, but I picked a small one because I wanted to be able to finish it. And my whole idea was that I was going to finish it in May, but that just didn't happen because I was so focused on Deadly Aquarium. But this is the project I picked. It is a Tentmaker small, and this is the April one. And this is what it would have looked like last time well, did I show it? I don't know if I actually had it started. I must have, because one of my log here doesn't say that I started it. They all say whip. So I must have put in a few stitches in my last video, but this is what mine looks like now, and it's, there we go. The lighting kind of had to adjust. This fabric is super light. It's not white. It's like a very soft minty green color. It's 18 count Aida from Fiber on a Whim called Color Happens. And then I'm stitching, well, I'm stitching with two strands. It's not the called for colors because the cover image of this chart looked very different from like the actual DMC. So I just did a color conversion to make it look like the cover, because that's why I picked it, was for the bright, vibrant colors. When you actually pull the floss for this chart, it looks more like fall vibes, and I really liked how this looked like a cherry or a strawberry or something. So yeah, anyway, but I worked on it 3 times between then and now, or yeah, and it's only 534 stitches different, so yeah. I'll get to talking about this in plans, but I'm kind of hoping to only work on 2 projects at a time for the time being, and one of them being Deadly Aquarium, and then the other slot can be whatever project has the least amount of stitches to a finish, and this is like number 2 or 3 on that list. So, but that is Tentmaker Small by Carolyn Manning. I don't even know if I said Carolyn Manning. I know I said Manning May, but anyway. Okay, so next up is finishes, and then I also have starts. So we're gonna do the finishes first, and we're gonna do this one. So this also kind of leaks into some StitchCon stuff. So I had made some table gifts. Well, table gifts slash like round robin gifts. So basically I took the fabric from my round robin and I used the extra that was on there, and I stitched little pillows for all the girls that I stitched the round robin with. The only 2 people who worked on the round robin that weren't at StitchCon were Megan and Alexis, so I still have their pillows, which is what I'm going to show you. So Megan and Alexis, if you don't want to see the pillows, then look away, I guess, but they're going to go in the mail really quick. So anyway, I love these girls so much, and I love this community, and so I kind of just wanted to stitch a little like token of my love and appreciation for them. So I stitched It's You I Like on the same fabric and floss that I did my round robin in, and then the back is just some coordinating fabric, and then I made a little label with my Frizzy Lizzie Stitches logo, which you can't see too well because it's like blowing out quite a bit. Anyway, but yeah, so I have Megan and Alexis's pillows. So let's see, Cam, Marjorie, Brijin, and Maddie. 4, 5, 6. Yeah, they all got their pillow. I gave their pillows to them at StitchCon, and then I also made 2 other pillows that were not the same like fabric. I did like pink fabric with red floss, and I gave those to Elizabeth Ann Can Stitch and Liz from Hello from Liz Mathews, because I also love them. And there was kind of a thing where we thought they were going to sit with us, but they ended up sitting at the table next to us. So anyway, I made some for them too because I love them. And I got lots of practice making little pillows. I stuffed these with I put like the polyfill in the corners, and then I filled the rest of it with the walnut shells, so they almost feel like little bean bags, and they're just so cute. So anyway, if you're unfamiliar with the sentiment behind the It's You I Like, I couldn't find the original video because I think it was one of Michelle Bendy's older videos that she might have like archived or something. But just Google It's You I Like Mr. Rogers, and you should be able to find like the little clip of him singing this little song, and every time I watch it, it makes me cry. Especially the part where he says that you learn the most from people who care about you. And yeah, I love the people that are in my life right now. Okay, I'm not gonna get any more emotional. Okay, so the other finish I had was also kind of like a start, so I guess it was a SAF, if you will. But this is Good Friends, and this was in our StitchCon passport at StitchCon. And it's designed by Sue Hillis. This little fabric scrap ornament cut or whatever came from Millennial Fabrics. They were at StitchCon and they were kind of passing out these little samples, and this chart fit on there perfectly. So me and my table mates all stitched this, and then Brijin recharted, it's supposed to say me and you, but she recharted it to say the girlies, because that's what we call ourselves. And then we picked some flosses that kind of matched the little fabric cuts that we got. So I think I have them back here. Yeah. Basically, we all bought a color, and then Brijin divided them up. So I just have a little bit of floss left, but it was enough for me to use 2 strands. This is 18 count. And I think this color is called Wonderlust or something like that. But yeah, so we've got Deep Fennel for the light green, Spinach for the dark green, Classic Colorworks, Miss Madeline for the light pink, Pickled Beets for the dark pink, and then the only gentle art that we got was Berry Cobbler, which was the medium pink that you see here. So, and that light pink was only used like right here. So you're mainly seeing the Pickled Beets and the Berry Cobbler. But yeah. I kind of want to turn this into a pillow, because after making those other pillows, I'm kind of like hooked. But yeah, who knows? I might frame it. We'll see what happens. But it'll happen when it happens. Alright, so the next finish, or next and last finish, is Massive Finish. So this was my StitchCon finish that how many times can I say the word finish? That I finished with my friends. So all of us who did the round robin, like I said, all of us were there except for Megan and Alexis. So we decided that we were gonna finish our projects together at StitchCon. And so this is a Quaker Garden from Hello from Liz Mathews. This is what the chart looks like. And then I'm also gonna, well, not right now, but I will put up pictures of what the other girls' charts look like. But this is what my finish looks like. So this fabric is 36 count linen, Fibrelicious Yummy Fibers in the color Mermaid Mules. And the DMC that I used is 3842. And it's gorgeous. I love it so much. So each of us stitched a flower. So this one is mine. Megan, Alexis, Brijin, Marjorie, Cam, and Maddie. And then when it got back to me, I stitched like the house and the rest of the letters, and then this whole bottom border. So I had like scheduled out myself a plan so that I would have a reasonable amount of stitching left when I got to StitchCon. And some of that got thrown off by my travel to go home, which was like at the end of May. So I thought I was going into StitchCon with 900 stitches left, which I was like, that's fine. And then on Thursday, when I started working on these little flower pots down here, I finished one, and I was like, I wonder how many stitches that is. And it was almost 200 stitches for like one of these. And I had like, 6 of them left. And I was like, that's way more than 900 stitches. And so what I thought was 900 stitches was actually like 1,200 stitches. craziness. So yeah, I was like, this was all I was stitching on basically all Thursday. Well, no, I did work on, I think I worked on my Deadly Aquarium, but anyway, I was working real hard to get this done. I think it was Saturday that we ended up bringing the bell together, but we basically all just left one stitch left. So like, cause some of us like finished at different points, but we just left one stitch and we put in our last stitch together, and then we went up there and rang the bell. So here is a picture of us after we rang the bell. And then I'm gonna throw up some pictures of my portion on all the girls' projects, just to show you the colors. But yeah, go check out, I'll have them linked under the Round Robin project in the description box, but go check them all out to see their projects finished. And yeah, I'm so glad it's done. It's gonna be great to frame and put on the wall. This is the first like kind of sampler Quaker thing that I finished, I think. So it's gonna look so pretty up there. We're just gonna flood this wall with all my cross stitch. Oh, and I guess I could tell you, I worked on this, how many times? 8 times since my last video, and I stitched 3,661 stitches. Okay, so all the rest of these are starts. I wanted to do a pass around project at StitchCon, and I saw, after I got home from Stitch North, I saw on Instagram where Stitching a Tea had done a pass around project with 324 by Works by ABC, and I was like, oh my gosh, that is so cool. I love that so much. So I decided that I was going to start that when I went to StitchCon. And so I got it started. So this is what 324 looks like normally. And then this is what mine is looking like so far. So this fabric is 32 count Lugana from Color and Cotton, and it's called, wait, what is it called? Stormy Sea. And basically, I was asking people to stitch a full square and a motif in whatever color they had with them, and then I had some papers in the bag to like sign where they stitched and write down what floss they used. So I got a really good little start on my pass around project. So I stitched this pink one right here to get it started, and then I had all my table mates stitch on it. So I don't know exactly all of them, but I think this one's Maddie from Kitty Stitch. I think Brijin did this one. I feel like Cam did that one, and maybe Marjorie did this one. I know Liz, Elizabeth Ankin Stitch did this one. I want to find my paper, because I've got it written down. But yeah, so I had this like little sheet to explain what I was trying to accomplish with this project, and then I need to go back to oh, that was my project board. I need to go and fill in some of these because I think some people forgot to put their initials, but everybody did write down what floss they used. So yeah, and then I don't know all the, okay, this one right here is Rachel from Lemonade Stitching, this green one. Should have known that. Her favorite color is green. And then let's see what else. Who did this blue one? Oh, okay, Laurel from Mountain Laurel Stitches did this blue one. I love the blue one. Okay, and then who? Okay, Erinn from Hathaway Stitchers. She did this really bright pink one. And then I know Amity did this one because I'm obsessed with this color. It's an Owl Forest embroidery floss called Deep Atlantic. And then Natasha from Britches Get Stitches, she did hers in purple, obviously, but she also did it over 1. So I know it's kind of hard to tell because I'm just filming with like the front facing camera on my phone, but it is itsy bitsy teeny tiny and it looks so cool. So anyway, lots of amazing people got to stitch on my project. There were still so many people that I wanted to stitch on it that it just I didn't get around to it. But my plan is to bring this with me to every retreat I go to from here on out, and whoever is there and wants to stitch on it can. So, and then when it's done, I probably will either turn it into a project bag or like a throw pillow, because it will be pretty big. I think, because it's already decently wide, and I mean it's gonna fit on the width of this fabric, but it's also a square. So anyway, this is my 324 pass around project. It looks so good. Okay. So my other start was with my table mates, my girlies. We decided that we were gonna start a Biscornu as kind of our like retreat start slash friend stitch, I guess. But I chose the Citrus Biscornu from Satsuma Street, and it looks like this. And this is my start. So how many stitches did I get in this? I think it's like 300 or something. 373 stitches. So, and then this is my new needle minder from Caterpillar Cross Stitch. It's the Taylor Swift Lover House. And I knew my Swiftie besties, Brijin and Maddie, would also be interested, so I offered to order 3 of them so that we didn't have to pay shipping 3 times. And I was able to give it to them at StitchCon. So now we have matching needle minders. But anyway, this is my Biscornu start. And this fabric is 32 count. I think it's definitely linen. And I think it's from Seraphim, and I think it's called like Winter Woolens or Winter Wovens or something like that. But it's really pretty. I'm gonna open it up for you. Like, it's just very lightly modeled. It's very pretty. And I think it is gonna look great with these vibrant colors for the Satsuma Street Biscornu. Where is the floss? I think it's in this bag. I just want to show you the colors because they're so good. Like, check that out. Oh, it looks so good. So yeah, this is what we got going on. So since I finished Good Friends yesterday, this is gonna become my new like this has the least amount of stitching left, so I'm gonna work on this until it's done, alongside my Deadly Aquarium. So that is my Biscornu start. Okay, and then the last start I had was kind of a restart. Well, it is a restart. So when I was at Stitch North, I kitted up a project. It is Modern Folk Embroidery Sampler Garden. And I had bought the floss, and I was super excited about my conversion, and I was like wanting to start it right there. And so I bought a piece of fabric, and I wasn't like super thrilled with the fabric, but I was gonna give it a try anyway. And so I started it at Stitch North, and then I got a few stitches in, I got all the colors on there, and I really wasn't jazzed about it. So I was like, you know what, I'm gonna stop, and then I think when I get home, I'm gonna see if there's something in my stash that I would be happier with. So I think in my last floss tube, I was showing you my 2 options, and a lot of you were very much like ashes to ashes, and I'm like, yes, that's kind of what I'm thinking too. So I restarted it. And where is, I like left all the project bags behind me, and I want to show you the floss for this. Okay, so this is what Sampler Garden looks like. It's charted in like deep blues and like gold and gray and sort of stuff like that. And I chose to be more bright and, you know, add some Elizabeth to it. So I've got some pink and some lavender and then this like turquoise minty color. And yeah, so when I started it at Stitch North, I started it on this Dirty Porcelain Ada. Dirty Porcelain Linen from Roxy Floss, which looks like this. And it's beautiful fabric. It's just too warm for the colors that I had picked. And so this is what that start had looked like. And so then, like I said, while I was at StitchCon, I restarted it on Ashes to Ashes, and guys, it looks so good. Look at this. It looks so much better. It just pops so much more. The only difference is that this is 36 count and that was 40 count. But I'm still doing 1 strand because that's what I bought enough floss for. So this is actually the first time I'm stitching with 1 strand on 36 count, and I think it looks really nice. So I'm really excited to get some more work in on this. I probably got less than 200 stitches on it. Yeah, 162 stitches. But I'm glad that I have it started and am like confirmed that yes, this is the fabric. It's going to look incredible, and I'm just so excited to see what it's gonna look like. I really am. But it's probably not going to get worked on until at least all of my smaller stuff is kind of squared away, and then I'll probably rotate through the bigger stuff, but we'll get to that in plans. Okay, let me take a quick break and I'll be right back. Alright, that was all of my cross stitch. I'm gonna jump into, well, that was all my cross stitch projects. There'll be more cross stitch chatting in a moment, but I want to talk about my knitting because that is some other projects that I worked on. So first off, I can't really quite remember what happened in my last video knitting wise because I did not rewatch it or anything to refresh my memory, but I'm pretty sure that I had not finished these socks. So here they are. These are my Unicorn Tears socks because this main color that I have used here is a fiber seed yarn called Unicorn Tears. And then I did a contrast heel, toe, and cuff with this color called Litmus. And yeah, so I got another pair of socks. I kind of learned a lot. So this is my second pair of socks I've ever knit. And I feel like I learned just as much knitting this pair as I did knitting my first pair. So this is the first sock, and I did a 2x2 rib, and I also knit this on magic loop, which is basically you knit them on needles that have a really long cable so that you can knit the front and the back kind of, they're like divided up. Whereas if you do it in the round, like fully in the round, it's all connected and you're not having breaks and stuff. But anyway, basically halfway through this foot, I got a 9-inch circular needle, so I could knit fully in the round without having to, loop around. And I finished my sock that way. So then when I cast on this sock, I knit this sock fully with the 9-inch circular. And I bought the same size needle. I forgot that I did a 2x2 rib on the other sock, so this sock actually has a 1x1 rib. And then this sock is actually just a smidge bigger than this sock because my gauge is basically like 9 stitches per inch with the magic loop and closer to 8 stitches per inch with magic loop. I'm sorry, with the 9-inch circular. So this sock is just a little bit bigger, which was kind of a bummer because obviously they're a pair, so you wear them at the same time, but they don't quite feel the same because they're not the same size technically. So anyway, I was kind of bummed about that. I'm still gonna wear them, obviously. But yeah, so learned a lot there. I did not want to buy another 9-inch circular needle in a smaller needle size, so when I started my next sock, which I'll show you in a second, I just decided to size it down. So both of these are, I follow the Crazy Sock Lady vanilla sock, and I just adjust, I don't make my leg as tall, but these are both cast on with 64 stitches. So anyway, this is my second pair of socks. I'm going to show you the other pair that I started after I finished that. So I basically started these when I was flying home to see my parents. This was at the end of May. And like I said, I didn't want to get another set of 9-inch circular needles, so I just sized down. So instead of casting on 64 stitches, I cast on 56 stitches, which for the Crazy Sock Lady pattern, that is like a small rather than those were a medium. So this is what my sock looks like so far. I've got the leg done. I did make my leg a little longer, probably about 10 rounds longer, I think, and I have picked up the heel flap, or I've done the heel flap and the heel turn, and I've picked up the gusset stitches, so it looks a little weird right now. But I'm knitting this fully on the 9-inch circular, and I did a 1x1 rib. I tried doing the German twisted cast on, and I really like how it looks, and it's stretchier than the normal long tail cast on. This yarn is from Ruby and Roses. It's called Love Story from her Taylor Swift collection. And then the accent color that came in the sock set is this really pretty light pink color, which is getting very washed out right now. And it's called Blush. And yeah, so that's what it's looking like so far. What else? I don't think there's too much else to say about this. I did go ahead and weave in my ends because I need to cut that tail off, but I didn't like them flopping around everywhere, so yeah. Anyway, this will be my 3rd pair of socks. And summer sock camp is happening right now with the Crazy Sock Lady. I think it goes on through like August or something, but I'm really hoping I can at least finish 1 pair of socks during that time, just because she does do like giveaways and stuff, and I would love to enter for one. So anyway, that's the yarn caked up, and then here's the little baby one, and then I'm keeping this in the project bag that Elizabeth Ann Kim Stitch made for me. I wound that yarn myself because I got myself a Yarn Swift and ball winder, so that was really fun to learn how to do, because next project, I cast on my Musselburgh hat. I think I did show Bobby's finished Musselburgh hat in my last video. So I went ahead and started mine, and this is the yarn I'm using. This is actually the 2nd time I wound up this yarn. The first time I did it, I forgot to like kick out the little like holder that holds the yarn as it's winding around the ball winder. And so my caked up yarn was like really lopsided. It was like super tight on one side and super loose on the other side. So anyway, I just pulled from the center and rewound it, and now it is a beautiful little cake. And this is the start. Oh, I guess I should say this yarn is Big Sky Yarn Company in the color Down on the Farm. And this is what my hat looks like so far. It's very tiny. I still am working on the increases, but it looks something like that. I really like holding it out like this because I feel like it looks really cool. But I love these colors. It's so beautiful. So yeah, I'm working on my hat, and I'm hoping to get the increases done soon so that I can like return this to like my knitting and walking, because then it'll just be stockinette in the round, which will be super easy. I don't have to think about it. I feel like all my I only have 2 knitting projects going at a time because I need to show self-restraint. Otherwise I will never get anything done. But they both have been at weird times where like that one I had the heel turn that I needed to do, and then this one the increases are still happening, so just need to get those increases done so I can have some easy walking knitting to do. But yeah, those are my 2 knitting projects. I also have a couple pieces of knitting haul that I wanted to show you. So when I got back from Stitch North, my friend Shiloh was like, "Hey, what's your address?" And I was like, "Oh, don't send me nothing." Like, cause I knew that I was really hoping that she, that whatever she was sending me was like something she purchased from a store to be directly shipped to me rather than her sending it. Cause I know that shipping from Canada, or like between US and Canada, can get really expensive. But anyway, she did end up purchasing an item for me through a store, so it like shipped directly to me. and it's the Eras Tour yarn from Mustache Yarns. You can't read the label because it's so washed out. There we go. But yeah, it's from Mustache Yarn, and this is self-striping, and all the colors in here are themed after the Eras Tour. So there's a color for each Taylor Swift era. And I haven't unwound this, obviously, but it says that it's like it's a perfect must-match set. So there's 2 skeins in here that are like twisted together. So yeah, these are gonna be so fun. I have been wanting to knit some striped socks, so I might just this might have to be my next pair after I do the Love Story socks. But I also wanted to make sure that I did a contrast heel because I know with like the slip stitch heel and heel flap that it can make the stripes look kind of weird if you don't do a contrasting color. And I was trying to think what color to use, and then I was looking at this sock skein that I already had bought from Ruby and Roses, and this mini that goes with Bejeweled I think is gonna match the stripes on this one, like for the midnight. Cause let me see. Come on, little dude. So there's the Midnight's color right there, and I just feel like that is gonna match it pretty well. So I think I'm actually gonna use this mini skein for the self-striping socks for this. And then if there's enough left, then I can also use it for that. But if not, then these can just be solid socks. But yeah, I'm super excited. And then when we were at StitchCon, me and several other people went to the yarn store there called Hank, which is in this really nice part of Cincinnati. And I picked out some yarn because, you know, I could not. So I got this skein of Yoshi and Lucy, and it is a 75-25 merino nylon blend called Blue-Footed Booby. Oh, like the bird. Yeah, so anyway, I love it so much. I'm gonna use these to knit some socks for my grandma because she's the only family member that has expressed interest in having a piece of knitted socks for me. So I don't know why, and I know she's just joking around, but my mom is like, I don't want socks for Christmas. And I'm like, okay, Mom, okay, thanks. You don't have to tell me 50 million times. But anyway, so yeah, these will be socks for my grandma. So I definitely will need to start them before like October so that they can be done in time for Christmas. But you know, anyway, I have lots of sock goals, but we're just gonna do it one sock at a time because that is all I can handle. Okay, so before we move into plans, I want to talk a little bit about StitchCon. So I already showed you the It's You I Like pillows that I made, but I also made a few other things. So there were several people that I had not met yet that I wanted to make these little scissor fobs for. This one is mine, and the ones I made for them actually have like a lobster claw clasp on here, not just like, because this was like my prototype, if you will. I really should make myself another one. But anyway, so I made these. I'll put a picture up. I think I took one. But I made them for Cam and Marjorie, Maddie, and I made one for Rocio from Kokohama Stitchery, and Laurel from Mountain Laurel Stitches, and I made one for Liz from Hello from Liz Mathews. So there were some people that I was hanging out with that had made one for previously, like Brijin, for example, and she still had hers clipped to her scissors. So the girls love them, and I really like making them. So, and then I also had, like, I think I might have shown this in my Stitch North video, but I did have some stickers that I passed out. I still have quite a few just because I'm not one to, you know, it's not in my personality type to talk to every single table and give one out to every single person. And then I also had some friendship bracelets that I made. Some of these are still from Stitch North, but then I had made some new ones for StitchCon, and they were a big hit as well. So yeah, I think that's just gonna be my MO now. Like, every time I go to a Stitch retreat is make the little friendship bracelets and pass out stickers, because I love them. And then I did get like several gifties from my friends. So I obviously got a bunch of like swag. This is the bag that they gave us this year. Whoa, blown out. Okay. This is the bag they gave us this year, which is ginormous. Once you think it's full, it's not. You can just keep putting stuff in it. It's crazy. But I decorated mine, so they also gave us this little like scissor fob charm thing, and I put it on the zipper. This is from Stitch North a couple years ago, and then this is a pin that Marjorie gave me. It says Artsy Fartsy Alliance, and it's so cute. And then I just put Winnie the Pooh on here because he's cute, and we love him. But yeah, so I love this bag. It ended up being my like to and from the conference, or to and from the retreat bag. I actually stayed with Maddie. So yeah, anyway, I'm just gonna show you the things that Marjorie, Brijin, and Maddie made me a bag, so I wanted to show those. So this is the bag that Brijin made me, and this is perfect for a knitting project, but I actually, at the retreat, I just like anything that somebody gave me, I stuck in this bag, which ended up being perfect, but it's got a little drawstring, and she made her little logo on this like, I was asking her how she made this. I think she said it was like printable paper, or I'm sorry, printable fabric. And it was like, she could iron it on, and then she like top stitched around it. But yeah, it's super cute. And I love this bag. It's gonna totally house a knitting project once I take some inventory and clear out all the free stuff that people gave me at StitchCon. And then this is the bag that Maddie gave me. I also put some stuff in here that people, well, I bought this piece of fabric. And then that's Cam's floss tag. Marjorie's got a floss tag in here. Boom. And then Maddie also had some floss drops. So this is the bag that Maddie made for me. Maddie of Kitty Stitch. And it's got such cute little sewing things all over it. And then Marjorie made these cute little pouches. And I picked out the orange one, of course, because I love the aesthetic of citrus, and also I was starting that citrus Biscornu, so I'm totally going to put that in here once I again take inventory and clean out some stuff. But I'm pretty sure all the stuff that's in here is stuff that Marjorie like had put in here. So some really cool scissors, they're super sharp, and then some needles, this little box that you can put needles in, and then that Artsy Fartsy Alliance button was on there, and then this Polaroid pin. And then somebody was passing these out, Lori from the Grateful Needle, and it's a citrus charm. So I stuck that in here because I want to stick it on the zipper pull because I think it'll look so cute. It's gonna look so cute with this bag. But anyway, and then she's got this like little orange speckly fabric in here. How freaking cute! Okay, so like I said, I got a ton of like little free gifties here and there throughout StitchCon. I'm not going to go through all of them just because we'll be here forever, and I'm sure if you watch other people's Flosstube recaps, you'll see some of the same stuff. But people were so kind and generous. It always blows me away, like all the stuff that people put together to hand out and share with everybody else. The stitching community is just so positive, and it just makes you feel loved. But yeah, I had a great time at StitchCon. I'm going to talk about some plans before I get into all of the life stuff. So basically I want to keep working on Deadly Aquarium. The new part, Exhibit 4, came out yesterday, so I'm hoping to stitch on that probably tomorrow. I've got to clean this house today, so probably will work on that tomorrow. And then my kind of idea is to basically only work on 2 projects for the time being. One of them being Deadly Aquarium. And then, let me see here. I basically, the second slot will be filled with a project that is the closest to a finish. So I'm gonna pull up my computer fell asleep, so it's taking a while to load. I am gonna fill the second slot with a project that's gonna be close to a finish, stitch count wise. So I actually found a way to, in my Notion, I have basically 3 main databases now. I have one for projects, one for my like stitching log, and then one for my DMC collection. And I finally got the stitching log and the cross stitch projects databases to talk to each other. So now every time I enter a stitching log, it will update the total amount of stitches I have stitched so far in the project database. So then I obviously can do some math to figure out how many stitches I have left and what % complete I am. So I'm basically using that information to figure out which of my projects has the least amount of stitching to be done for it to be finished. So that is that's kind of what I'm following to determine what project goes in that second slot. So currently, as of yesterday, the second slot was Good Friends, but I finished that. So now the next project that has the least amount of stitching is Citrus Biscornu. So that is gonna be what I work on when I'm not working on Deadly Aquarium. And then I think after that, okay, I finally got it to pull up. So after Citrus Biscornu, it only has like 1,700 stitches, I think, to a finish. Yeah. So after that, it'll be Tentmaker Smalls, the Carolyn Manning. And that one does have quite a bit more. It has 3,418 stitches. But again, my plan is just to like have that be the project I work on when I'm not working on Deadly Aquarium. Just so that I can try to like finish some of this stuff, because I have 15 whips right now. And that is not my favorite. I definitely like to keep it like around, like closer to 10 or less. So we'll see what happens, but we're gonna try this method and see how far I can get with that. But that's kind of like the bulk of my plans. I have decided to stop participating in WhipGo. I really love WhipGo, but it's just not working for me this year, and I don't want to put any unnecessary stress on myself, so I'm just going to politely stop stressing myself out about that. Now, if I get to the end of the year and I am looking for more reasons to have goals and whatnot, then I might revisit it and see what I can check off, but as of now, I'm not going to try to keep up with it. Okay, so I think we could talk about life stuff. Like I said, it was like May the 3rd or something when I filmed my last Flosstube update. So the whole month of May basically has happened, and we're already like halfway into June, which is insane. But I guess the first thing that would have happened would have been Bobby's birthday. So he actually turned 30 in May. And yeah, so he had to work, like his birthday was on a Tuesday, so he obviously had to work that day, but he did not have to work the weekend leading up to his birthday, so we used that whole weekend as like his birthday weekend. So I had made a cake, we had gifts, I got like some of the 30 balloons. I had a birthday banner that I had made him several years ago that I hung up, and I made him a cake, and I also set up the tent in our living room just for fun, and we played video games, and we went to a brewery, and we just had a really good weekend. And let's see. Yeah, that was kind of all we did for his birthday. And then after that, I flew home to Mississippi to visit my parents, and that was basically like the weekend of Memorial Day. So I like flew over there on Friday before, and then I stayed until the following Thursday. I had brought my Deadly Aquarium with me and my Quaker Garden, but Deadly Aquarium was basically what got the most work on it. And then that was a good time because I got to eat a bunch of my favorite restaurants that I hadn't eaten at, obviously, in a super long time. And my my mother-in-law actually had a little party on the Mississippi Gulf Coast. She just got her master's in genetics from Johns Hopkins, so big achievement there. So we had a little pool party that me and my parents were able to drive down there to attend, and so that was really fun. And we went to the movies and we saw If, which is such a good movie. If stands for Imaginary Friend, and it's a movie, I'm pretty sure John Krasinski is the story writer or screenwriter or whatever for it. But it was just really good. It made me kind of wish that I had an imaginary friend when I was a kid. I did not. But yeah, if you want a feel-good movie, that was a good one. And then I also started watching Bridgerton. When I flew down to Mississippi is when I downloaded the first season. So I watched the first 3 episodes. And then my mom and I finished season 1 while I was at home with her. And then I started season 2 when I flew back home to Ohio. And so I have watched all of season 1 and all of season 2. The part 2 of season 3 just came out last weekend or something, or maybe a couple days ago. And so I need to just start from the beginning of season 3. But I'm excited that all of it is out, so I don't have to wait for any parts. So yeah, I really love Bridgerton. I'm I've jumped on that bandwagon. But yeah, and let's see. I already told you about my floss video. And then we had StitchCon. So StitchCon for me was last weekend. That was June 6th through 9th. And I was able to stay with my friend Maddie. She lives closer. She lives in Cincinnati. I live in the Dayton area, so it was much closer and easier for me to be able to go stay with her because she lives less than 20 minutes away from the convention center, whereas I live an hour away from the convention center. So yeah, anyway, it was really fun. We were all kind of packed in her house. It was me, Cam, Marjorie, and Brijin all stayed with her, and we had such a good time. We all sat together at the retreat, and we laughed, and we just had a damn good time. It was so great. And then I also got to see so many people that I hadn't ever met before, that I was kind of oh my gosh, I've, in some cases it was, I got to meet Rocio from Kokohama Stitchery. I was really bad about taking pictures, but I did take a selfie with Rocio. She's kind of one of the first people that I ever watched when I was watching Flosstube, and she's kind of one of the big people that kind of gave me the courage to decide to start my own channel. So yeah, it was so nice to get to see her in person. And then Laurel of Mountain Laurel Stitches, she was also another person that I had been watching for a really long time, and she was there, and I regret that we didn't get to talk and hang out more, and I neglected to get a photo with her as well, but she was super nice, and I was very happy to be able to meet her as well. Yeah, and then like I said earlier, at the very beginning when I shouted out some people for Flosstube, it was really nice to be able to find some new people that I hadn't watched before and then see them in real life, and now they're going to be part of my daily or my routine Flosstube viewing. So yeah. And then I think the last thing I wanted to talk about was some music. This summer has been such a freaking bop. So much good stuff. We kind of I know April is still technically spring, but I feel ever since Espresso from Sabrina Carpenter came out, that was a week before Torture Poets. So basically we got Espresso, banger, Torture Poets Department, banger, and then after that we got Gracie Abrams released a single called Risk, And then since then, Gracie Abrams and Sabrina Carpenter have both come out with additional singles to go with their brand new albums that come out later. So for Sabrina, Please 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 is like my new favorite song. I love it so much. And I'm so excited for the rest of that album. It's going to be called Short and Sweet, and I think it comes out in like, is it August, I think? And then Gracie Abrams came out with another single called Close to You, which is also a banger. And her new album comes out like next weekend. So I'm super excited for that. And then Chapel Roan hasn't come out with any like brand new music in the past month or so, but like she is my favorite also. So Good Luck Babe and Red Wine Supernova are like my top 2 favorite songs from her at this very moment. And then, not as much of the same vibe, but Billie Eilish came out with a new album, and I haven't listened to the whole thing, like, numerous times, but I do have a couple favorites, which are Lunch and Birds of a Feather. So, yeah, I've been just really enjoying what's happening in the music world lately, and it makes me happy. I love some good music. And, yeah. Oh my gosh. Okay, I think I've talked so much. I have like an hour, I'm over an hour on the video footage, so we'll see what that looks like in editing. But yeah. My final comments are, I did have a couple people use the Buy Me a Coffee link in my description box, so I wanted to give a big thank you to Anne Marie and Liz G Creates. Thank you so much for contributing to this channel and showing your support. I love you all so much. I'm so glad that you choose to be here and to watch my content, and those of you that leave a comment always makes my day, and I love participating in this cross-stitch community, and I thank you for that. So I'm gonna go and I gotta clean this house. I'll see you next time. Bye.